mentioned, we're going to talk about TMS with functional connectivity MRI, which is different from the traditional methods of administering TMS and different from, say, 3D guided methods of administering TMS. I'm just going to go over what sets this apart in terms of specificity and customization of the brain and finding the treatment location. Okay, so if we take a look at this MRI here, and this is an actual person's MRI that I'm using, I'm actually going to outline this person's brain. Okay, this is different from the other methods of TMS where you don't really take into account the size and the shape of the brain. You're essentially using the patient's scalp or their skull and estimating with an algorithm where the treatment location would be. I'm outlining the brain, I'm outlining the skull here, and that tells me or allows me to pick an even more customized position for treatment. And once I actually place the data points, I create a head model, and this is what it looks like. This is an actual customized head model based on this person's actual skull, based on this person's actual MRI of their brain. Now, if you look, this looks somewhat similar to what you've seen before with 3D guided TMS, 3D guided methods of administering TMS. But now you can actually see inside of the skull, and we're taking into account the brain, the different size, the different shape, and the separation between the two. Okay. Now, once we get this actual head model, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to add in even more specificity and take into account other factors such as hair, again, size and shape of the head. And I'm essentially going to outline telling the computer the size and shape of the brain. And after doing all of that, once you know where the skull is, once you know where the brain is, I can actually separate the two of them and come up with an actual model of just the brain. Because now that I know where the skull is, I know where the scalp is, I can take in the computer, I can take them apart and show you only what I need to show you. The only thing that I need to do now is, or think about is, the DLPFC. Okay, now, I could probably look at this and guess where the DLPFC is, but A, that's probably not a good idea. And B, I wouldn't be able to tell you where the most functional area of the DLPFC is. Okay, that's when the post-processing comes into play. So I'll take this brain model that I just created and I'm gonna overlay what we call the post-processing imagery. And this is what you get. Not only can I see the DLPFC, but I can see the most functional areas of the DLPFC. And that is why this is so specific. I've taken into account the skull, scalp, and brain, and also taken into account the functional areas of this individual's brain. I place the coil in the right location and treatment commences. And that's the process. If you have any other questions, feel free to visit my website, neopsych.com, or you can leave a comment in the video and I'd be happy to try to answer any questions that I can. Take care.